All right. Well, I just want to share this video from Tucker Carlson and talk about it a bit. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but I'm going to fast forward through some select
It's
bits.
interesting to learn who Jeffrey Epstein hung around with while he was alive. People who flew on his airplane, people who stayed on his private island in the Caribbean, those who had dinner at his home off Fifth Avenue in New York. And to some extent, those names are coming out, not all of them. But we know a lot of the people who are in Jeffrey Epstein's life, and we have for several years now. But on another level, that whole story seems like a bit of a sideshow because it doesn't answer the main mysteries surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's life or death. And there are three of them, almost none of which is ever discussed in the media. The first is, who did Jeffrey Epstein work for? What did Jeffrey Epstein do for a living and on whose behalf? We don't know. The second question is,
Yeah, we kind of do know that. I just don't know why he just says we don't know and skips over it. We kind of have a pretty good idea. I mean, wasn't Bill Gates' mom one of the Maxwells? Bill Gates's mother is from the Maxwell family. Didn't Bill Gates in lots of pictures with Jeffrey Epstein? Didn't Bill Gates fund a lot of Jeffrey Epstein's stuff? I mean, Bill Gates has tons of money. He was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He dumped tons of cash into some of these ventures, some really weird business ventures over the years. Bill Gates. Why can't you name that guy? Is there maybe I'm getting censored for talking about him, but honestly, there's a number of people who really need to be arrested and go to prison over this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, especially watching this video. The autopsy photos have now been released. This is disturbing stuff. You can tell by the lacerations around Jeffrey Epstein's neck and throat. He was forcibly killed. Like someone put that thing around him and choked him tight. There's no way you'd have marks like that if you killed yourself. No fucking way. Plus the spine that was they had him on a knee into his back as they were choking him out. You can tell from the autopsy. It's blatantly obvious. Now the woman who did the autopsy, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, is interviewed here by Tucker Carlson. He names the woman who did the who switched over the autopsy. Basically, like, this is crazy because Bill Barr is the one who signed off and said that he personally, went and watched the Jeffrey Epstein videos, and he signed off that no one else entered the cell block. So Bill Barr is just the Attorney General of the United States. Like, why was he involved? And it's obvious that Bill Barr needs to be arrested. He needs to be charged with conspiracy to commit murder after the fact by engaging in a cover-up. And so doesn't everyone involved with Jeffrey Epstein's murder. I mean, to think that the U.S. government can murder you in a state prison. Well, you're in a state prison that the government can go and just murder you. It's just insane to think about that. This is a top cop, the Attorney General's office. That's the top police officer in the entire country. And this guy covered up Jeffrey Epstein's murder personally. He wrote on the police report they said it was a suicide. No investigation was done because it's a suicide. They had Barbara Samson, the autopsy, the person who did the autopsy, changed the verdict from murder to potential murder to a suicide, and gave that official stamp. So Barbara Samson needs to be arrested and charged as well with conspiracy to commit murder after the fact by participating in a cover-up. If this was any of you, and any of you did anything like this, you'd be in jail. You'd have no bail, and you'd be held on charges like this is treason. He should be charged with treason as well. This is just insane that this has come out, and the amount of heads that are going to roll or should be rolling from this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing is just, it's mind-boggling. It's insane. So I'm so glad this is all coming out, and I hope the goddamn people push, and all this needs to come out. Yes, it's absolutely treason, because who's in charge of our government if they're blackmailing and they have a government club, this cultist club, where in order to get into this elite club, you have to rape children. Think of how fucked up that is, man. It's a gang where you have to rape kids in order to get in this gang. Alex Jones, talked about that on, now that they let him back on, why he was banned. He was on to all these people and talking about all these people decades ago. And everyone's like, this guy's a conspiracy theorist. These are conspiracy theories. Don't pay attention to this. All this is nonsense. Just because you're on the flight log or visiting his island doesn't mean you're raping kids out there or involved in any of these other shenanigans and stuff. But it turns out that there's so many that were, and there was so much weird stuff going on. Now it's coming out after the scenes. But one of the most interesting things, and something I really want to talk about on this channel, because we've been getting a lot of people messaging and asking about this now that all the Epstein sex trafficking and the stuff has come out, is the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was hanging around with so many scientists. And who were those scientists that were hanging around there? Well, it turns out a lot of them were gravity scientists, guys like Lawrence Krauss, who did this, horrible, horrible debate on this guy, I don't know, Pangburn channel. He did this debate in New York City with Nick Pope, and this guy Pangburn produced it and put the whole thing together with this, Jeffrey Epstein friend scientist who, is out there on the island, scuba diving with Epstein, going on the submarine with Epstein and Stephen Hawking. Hang here. I don't know if this is Lawrence Krauss, but there's Kip Thorne and Stephen Hawking. This is just crazy to think that these people were out on the island too, and to think that we'll ever really know the full truth of what went on there. Now this guy on the right looks familiar. I forget his name, Alan, and there's a number. I got the whole article here with all the scientists and the gravity scientists and stuff, but it's just a couple of them are super interesting because this guy Lawrence Krauss is obviously a paid government shill. I mean, this guy is totally owned back pocket by somebody to be going on here and saying the things that he said in this debate, and the fact that they put it on with a guy who's not even a scientist or not a strong scientific background in this field. I would have just handed his ass to him if I was in a debate with this guy. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you have, and you have to wonder about these scientists and what they were doing out on Jeffrey Epstein's island, and who controls them now with whatever information they have, and why they're the ones, pretty much these guys are like the gatekeepers of this whole thing. And there's a number of these scientists that hung out with Jeffrey Epstein that I don't trust at all anymore. I'll never trust them again, man. I don't care what they say. Oh, I knew him and I didn't, know what was going on. I don't believe any of them. Anyone connected with this guy is suspect and very suspicious, in my opinion. Kip Thorne would be, he's a Caltech scientist. He did all kinds of work with Bryce Dewitt back in the 60s, on all this secret gravity club stuff. So he's one of those secret gravity scientists that's in this inner circle of secret anti-gravity scientists. So that's pretty. And then Barry Barish of LIGO, the Gravitational Wave Observatory. I mean, these are all very key people. If you're going to engage in some kind of cover-up involving, anti-gravity technology, and you put all these anti-gravity scientists together on Jeffrey Epstein's island, I mean, there's something more to this. Alan Guth, that's the guy's name, Alan Guth, from MIT. Yeah. Jim Peebles, and then Frank Wilczek. Yeah, he's a guy that I remember now. Gerard de Hooft, David Gross. A number of these guys definitely worth looking into, because you're going to find that they're involved with some kind of top secret something or other involving their research. And then Stephen Hawking. I mean, what the heck? This is just the one that boggles my mind, because like, what did they do? Like, pay the prostitutes to sit on his face? Like, I don't understand like how the dynamics of this worked, and then Stephen Hawking has a wife that goes with him everywhere, and she's like his caretaker and takes care of him and like wipes his ass and and all that stuff. So how did they, I don't know. I don't know. Did they blackmail these guys? Did they sleep with the underage prostitutes and stuff too? I don't know. Maybe not. But it's certainly curious why they're all on this island hanging out on Blackmail Island, and why our top why these top scientists, are then like the biggest shills saying that, all this stuff's, don't pay attention, like just misinforming people on the science on a mass scale, with that guy Pangburn. But don't worry, we're getting out slowly. We have a couple footholds and some big podcasts and some big channels. Tim Pool tomorrow, guys. Timcast IRL on YouTube. If you aren't subscribed to Timcast, go check it out. He's Tim Pool. He started out Occupy Wall Street, covering on the ground news there, and was just exposing CNN and Fox News and all the mainstream media, because they were lying about Occupation Wall Street. They're putting all this fake disinfo and propaganda and fake information out on the news, saying what are these protesters about? And they're all retards. And he was actually boots on the ground, going out and talking to all these protesters on Occupy Wall Street, and really getting, real interviews and putting real actual journalism and information out, and exposing CNN and Fox News and the mainstream media left and right for their propaganda and lies. And it helped him really gain a huge foothold. He's one of the biggest podcasts on YouTube now, next to Joe Rogan. And he went really a right wing when Trump got elected. And I don't always agree with all the Trump stuff and everything. I think they're all corrupt, man. I think they all should be investigated. I think, I don't know, maybe there's a lot of people sticking up for Trump and saying that, he wasn't involved in all this stuff. But I mean, this happened under his watch. Bill Barr was his guy, in charge of all this. So why was Bill Barr in charge of Epstein's, investigation, and then the cover up? I don't know. There's definitely more to be told here, so I'm not sure about that. But yeah, Timcast on the podcast tomorrow night is going to be Dave Rossi. That's Podcast Z, Generation Z podcast here on YouTube. If you want to look up his videos, he was on the Christmas special with Ashton Forbes on my. If you guys caught that on my channel. He's very knowledgeable on the physics and the science of this technology and stuff. And Ashton, of course, had the best UFO video of 2023. I don't care if you believe it or not. It's still the best, most highest quality UFO video that has emerged in 2023. It has the technology, it has the physics, and it has two different angles, a chain of custody, and all this stuff. It goes back. I mean, it was posted 3 days after the incident to an anonymous YouTube channel. It's way better than anything that Jeremy Corbell has ever produced or shown in front of Congress. They wasted Congress's time with all these fake UFO videos that turned out to be flares and drones and bokeh and all this crap. I think that's total disinformation. I think that it's an opportunity to get more people to look into this to the UFO topic and also the technology topic more seriously. So this is hopefully a good foothold for us on the Tim Pool show tomorrow night, with maybe 100,000 people watching potentially, and getting this information out. So that will be amazing. Please tune in for that and share that around so that others can join in watching in the glory of getting real information and physics out to the masses. And then following that, on Saturday night is January 6th, and they're going to have an amazing panel. They got Alex Jones, John Greenwald, Darren Beath, Destiny, Brian Krasenstein, and Brian and Ed Krasenstein. So awesome panel. I really want to get one question asked to this panel. I don't know if you're listening, Ian, or any of you guys, but if I can get one question asked to this panel, it's that I'd love to hear what the panel has to say about the proximity of Bernard Kerik and Rudy Giuliani to the events of January 6th, and their high visibility platforms being some of the loudest voices contesting the election results and pushing Trump and his supporters not to cede power, and that Biden had stolen the election and led to all this stuff. So the two of the main people, it was his lawyer Rudy Giuliani and Bernard Kerik hyping that up, and I just would love for them to address that and those two shady individuals. I mean, Bernard Kerik was convicted of conspiracy and fraud and did 5 years in a federal state penitentiary for conspiracy and fraud. And this was the former New York City police commissioner who was, head of the New York NYPD on 9/11 next to Giuliani. So pretty amazing stuff. These guys. But yeah, that's January 6th. So definitely check those things out. Subscribe to Tim Pool if you're not already, and follow him on Twitter. I don't always agree with everything Tim says, but I like his attitude and his passion, and I follow him for that. And I was on the podcast a couple of years ago. It's been too long, Tim. I gotta get back on too. So hopefully the UFO thing with Ashton and Dave Rossi will reignite some of the interest in this topic. So but yeah, as far as Jeffrey Epstein and his pedophile friends go, and his physics friends go, I just, I'm curious about the establishment that's, covered up UFO technology and information for 80 years now. And you have to really wonder what the heck is going on. So the Hill, where's the Hill did a thing on government UFOs, right? So I'm gonna find this article. Okay, right here. This was the article right here. So this was by Marieke von Rennenkampf, an opinion contributor to The Hill. And they put out this article saying 2023, the year the US government started taking UFOs seriously. It's like they want you to forget 80 years of cover up, murder, and history. It's like they want you to think that, the government just started taking UFOs seriously last year, right? Which is ridiculous because you can just ask Roscoe Hillenkotter, right? Roscoe Hillenkotter was the first chief of the Central Intelligence Agency. He was the first director of CIA. And his comments on UFOs publicly, and this is a matter of factual historical record, that the first director of the CIA said that, we may ridicule and pretend that these things are swamp gas and fake in the public domain, but behind the scenes, the CIA takes UFOs extremely seriously. And that is a direct quote to the first CIA director. And you can look into the first Secretary of Defense, James Forrestal. Also, said some weird things before they sent him to Bethesda Naval Hospital, where he died of jumping out a 6th story window that many people think that he was thrown out of and murdered and killed. So our first Secretary of Defense was briefed on the UFO topic a little bit too deeply, couldn't handle it, and that's why since then it's been covered up, and even the presidents are not briefed on this subject or told about it, and that's how secret this topic has been, which is really weird because Forrestal, but that Bethesda Naval Hospital that he was sent to, where he, ended up, his life ended, was notorious. That, if you were during the 1950s or 40s, if you saw a UFO and you were a sailor or an infantryman or a member of the military, and you saw a UFO or had an experience with anything like that, this is where they'd send you. It's like one question was posed the other day on Twitter. It said, we hear all these stories about people who were killed as part of the UFO cover up and stuff, but has anyone ever in the history gone to prison for leaking information on UFOs? And no, that's never happened. You know why? Because you go to prison, you still have credibility when you get out. You still have, but where they send these people, is they send them to a mental hospital. They send them to a fucking psych ward, an insane asylum. Because once you get out of there, it's like no one's gonna listen to your interview or care about anything you have to say, and it's gonna sound 10 times more crazy coming from a psych ward patient than it is coming from someone who's did military time for mishandling classified information. So no, they will not send people who like that to prison. There's never been a case, because yeah, I bet you'll find cases, but those cases were people that were sent to Bethesda. They were sent to, or Walter Reed, right? That's what it's called now, right? And this is the same hospital that, as you remember, when the JFK was murdered by the CIA in Dallas, Texas, on November 22nd, 1963, and shot in the head by a team of highly trained Alpha 66 assassins. That body was brought to Bethesda Naval Hospital for the autopsy. Now, by law, the autopsy should have been performed right there in Dallas, Texas at the Parkland Hospital. But they instead removed the body from Texas, flew it on Air Force One. And where did they do the autopsy with which doctors? They did it at Bethesda. So there you go. They don't, if you see UFO stuff and you go and leak it, they're not going to lock you up in prison for it or for violating your oath. They're going to lock you up in a mental hospital, because no one's going to talk to you when you get out, because you're cuckoo, right? Makes sense. It's sad. It's fucked up. It's real fucked up, thinking that people had actual experiences with real things, and they send them on a psych ward and heavily medicate them and tell them, no, you didn't see that. It was fake, and you'll get out as soon as you agree that you didn't see it, and you'll stop talking about it. And if you talk about it again, you'll be right back. And that's how they keep those. They don't use prison. Get out of here, man. In any case, it's real fucked up, man, that they can kill people in a high security, uh, lockdown unit like that in a prison, super high security, that they can actually get in and kill somebody and get away with it. And that the Bill Barr, the attorney general, can sign off on this and be like, yeah, I viewed the tapes and there's no one else on that block, and no reason to investigate anything. And yeah, dude, y'all should, this is our top of the DOJ, the Department of Justice, covering up one of the most high profile murder cases in the history of the United States. It's just yeah, so yeah, that'd be cool if we had an open source complex. I don't know about live streaming 24/7, but I guess, man, it seems like if you're on a constant, they could shut it down, man. I just feel like we're so close now, dude. We have so much scientists coming forward with the APEC conference, where this catastrophic disclosure is definitely killing it. I'm getting more scientists emailing me all the time. Thank you for the guy from MIT that just reached out. I got your email, and I will be getting back to you. I'm hoping that more insiders and NASA scientists, and we had that Charles Bueller guy come on from NASA. He had a lab since 1998, got like 25 years of research, that dude had. So this is not one of the I'm sorry, I'm talking about NASA scientists that don't have anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein, with a picture of Jeffrey Epstein up on the page. But yeah, definitely check out these other scientists that are cool, that aren't, complete ignoramuses, that don't do any research, guys like Brian Keaton, who I helped him build his channel when he was first starting out his podcast, got him his first 100,000 subs. And he gave me one interview and cut it off short after an hour once I started asking like good, real questions. He's just not interested in real questions. Like he totally dodged a whole bunch. He totally just ducked and dodged a whole bunch of Danny's good questions, real awesome questions that were just too hard for him. And it's just a shame that our top astrophysicists have to be such ignoramuses that don't even look at the evidence and think they know everything. They think they're so smart that they don't need to look at evidence because they already know it all. So what's the point of looking at any evidence, looking at anything at all? It's just it's comparable to the Roman Catholic Church back in the days of Galileo, where they were so sure of their epicycle models and that those were the best heavenly models of the universe, and that they didn't need to look through Galileo's telescope. Like, it's a waste of my time. I'm just not interested in looking through your telescope, Galileo. I'm just not interested. And it's a shame. It's your loss. And I'll never, ever talk to you again. And I consider you part of the cover up. And one of these, I'll put you in the same category as Lawrence Krauss. Just an absolute a disgrace to physics, and a disgrace to science and progress and human progress, really. So yeah, yeah, he's some professor at, yeah. Dude, he doesn't like been friends with the guy. I thought he was my friend. He stabbed me in the back completely because he threw me under the bus when Danny Jones asked him about me. And it was just real, it was real bad, dude. Like, I'll never trust that guy again. And he's a pseudo intellectual. And I want to say that I stand firmly by Jack Sarfati. Jack Sarfati's got some shit because he's basically called these guys out because the mainstream community has created a stonewall and a information cordon, a quarantine around this information and intelligence. It's obvious that this has happened. I've gotten people that say look at my subscriber count stuck at 115,000 despite all these big podcasts I want on. It just won't budge because we're stuck in an information cordon. People are being automatically unsubscribed from my YouTube channel, and they're reporting it. And people are saying their comments are disappearing. If they leave a comment saying alien scientist on another video in the live chat, it just doesn't appear. Weird stuff is going on because they're suppressing actively this information, the members of the intelligence community, and they're pushing out a false narrative with a bunch of disinformation agents. Which is really, really weird because you get guys like Hal Puthoff, and Hal Puthoff is someone I've been on email lists and wrote to for a decade or more before he came out with TTSA and stuff. Ed Fouché introduced me to Hal back in the day, and dude, it just started talking about UFO like physics. As soon as I started talking about UFO science and UFO physics, he was like, "I got to get out of here. I'm bailing." Like because he hasn't done the research, because he hasn't spent any time investigating it at all, and he won't. He refuses to, and so many of these people refuse to. Well, they, thumb down their intellectual snobby noses at the rest of the physics community that are trying to get this information out, and we're so pissed off because of the ignorance, and just the blood. That they're turned their back on us and haven't paid any attention to us, that we're so pissed off now at this point that I understand why Jack has said these things and called out these people and challenged them. I understand completely. And I sympathize 100% with Jack, because if I was in his position and all these intellectual snobs like Brian Keaton were getting on, these podcasts and saying, "Oh, Jack's math gives me a headache. And how can I take a guy seriously because he doesn't understand, like email technology and stuff." I know so many guys that can, work circles around, theoretical physics, but they didn't get raised in a generation with this technology. So it's new to them. It's hard for some people, man. It's like you can be really good at something and just bad at something simple or something else. Doesn't mean you suck at everything or you're a fucking idiot because you can't figure out new technology and stuff, dude. It's the arguments, every single argument that, he used was just absolute shit. And they should be ashamed of themselves. And then, you get guys like Hal Puthoff who won't do any interviews unless they're controlled. And I've come to realize that these are all intelligence community assets. These people are intelligence community assets. I really strongly believe that these Thiel Capital characters like Jesse Michaels, Eric Weinstein, these guys, have refused to engage with this material, refused to engage with the information that we were just blowing out information here. And these guys have just completely ignored it and instead pushed this whole other narrative like, oh, this disclosure doesn't exist and these people don't exist. And we're pushing our narrative and listen to us. And, here I am. I can talk to Hal Puthoff, the top scientist who's involved with all this research project. And this is the real guy. This is the biggest disinformation mill on the planet. And the fact that Hal Puthoff would never do an interview with alien scientists, would never come on APEC and give a presentation where he could get asked real questions in a live setting with real engineers and physicists and a live Q&A. He'll never do that. Why? Because they're disinformation agents and they're intelligence community assets. And I've come to realize this over the last month, especially after that podcast, when you get a guy like Keaton on there, just shilling for this big science and saying this stuff doesn't exist. And you know what? It's not working anymore. You people are not like doing anything. We're growing this year. We're going to grow even bigger this year, and we're going to get way bigger than you. And you're not going to be able to control this. You cannot control the narrative anymore. You've lost the information war. Okay, and I'm letting you know. You try harder because you guys are losing this information war. And I just want to point out that. I just lost my train of thought. And thank you for the super chat, Finn. That was great. Yeah. These guys will never come on and debate. Like Eric Weinstein says, oh, well, like I'm not going to debate Jack Sarfati because he's of course you're not. Of course you're not, because you're not the real deal. And if you were, you would have debated him a long time ago, and it would never have gotten to the point where Jack Sarfati had to call you out on Christmas Eve for being such a fraud and a complete coward. Because if you're the main, this guy Eric Weinstein pretends like he's another one of these guys that pretends like he knows everything, and he's like the godfather and the most smartest person in the whole world when it comes to physics and all this stuff. And that, oh God, I know more, so much more than you. And that's the way they put him off. They portray him on Joe Rogan and these other shows and stuff. And if you were worth half your salt, Eric, you would have been on APEC and been involved in this community a long time ago. And the fact that you have sat there in the shadows and communicated like a little bit with me behind the scenes just shows everything about who you are and what you're about. And I'm so sick of it. I don't want nothing to do with any of you people, any of you goddamn condescending narcissists ever again. We're going to blow up on this channel. This information's real. It's going to come out. It's going to come out to way huger audiences. We're going to demonstrate and show warp drive in a laboratory. And you're not going to do anything to stop it. We already have the scientists have come out. We have NASA, Charles Bueller of NASA coming out and showing like 25 years of experiments and history, and it's being ignored. And this is the narrative that's being pushed out by the mainstream, is these disinformation, fake physicist clowns who are just, we're control, they think they have control of this narrative, and they've done so much to control this narrative and show people, they realize that the Bob Lazar thing was only going to last so long and only work, and we got to inject something else in there. And they got Eric Davis on there going on the Seoul conference and saying all this stuff at Seoul conference about, he's all disinformation. He's telling all these people at Seoul conference that this dark journalist is another one, man. He's another one who should have had me on years ago, and he can go fuck himself too, because he should have had me on years and years ago. I've got way better information than John Warner. I've had John Warner on the show. To have John Warner on your show to talk about the history of anti-gravity technology and the science and the X-Files. Screw you, buddy. That should have been me. And I'll never talk to that dude again. I'll never trust anything dark journalist has to say ever again either, because that's the same dude who during the congressional hearings on UFOs told everybody that Ed Stanton of AIAA was James Clapper sitting next to George Knapp. And I repeated that disinformation. So that guy's a disinformation agent. He put that disinformation out there, man. So Brett is actually, I have so much respect for Brett, and he's super intelligent and he's brave. He has 10 times the balls his brother has. Come on, man. He put me on Dark Horse with Michael Shermer, man. I got to hand the skeptics their ass, dude. That was great. That was real balls, dude. But these freaking clowns who are just spreading like you'll give an interview with Jesse Michaels and Hal Puthoff, but you won't come on APEC, or you won't debunk. If Jack Sarfati's so full of shit, why won't you come on and debunk him with your sweet, excellent physics? I mean, we've already had some of the best physicists in the world look at his math, like David Chester, and say that, this is actually plausible. Okay. So I don't need Eric Weinstein. We already have better physicists than him. Yeah, exactly. He's trying to play both sides. I really had a lot of respect for both the Weinstein brothers, man. You know what? And I still have a lot of respect for Brett Weinstein, but I lost all of my respect for Eric Weinstein this year, and especially after all this. So I don't care anymore. I'm not going to put up with it anymore. You're either with disclosure and you're with getting this information out, or you're not. And I'm not gonna deal with these people. Yeah, it's like the Sarfati scale, aka the BS scale. Okay. Ask how likely, yeah, the Sarfati scale. What AF Ed is debate him if you think he's wrong. Yeah, you know, Jack is I don't agree with everything Jack has to say either. I don't believe all the time travel stuff, but there's certain things I disagree with. But I'm with Sarfati on all this, man. It's just this debate should have happened a long time ago. It's the fact that we've been ignored and just blacklisted and not just thrown to the wayside for so long that it's gotten to the point where I'm frustrated as hell too. I'm frustrated as hell. Okay. And I understand why Jack Sarfati is frustrated as hell, man. He's been doing this for 30 years. He was a physicist hired by the CIA to work on this stuff, and he's putting all this stuff out. Nobody's paying attention to it. So, keep not paying attention. Keep not paying attention, dude. Debate is the only way. We have to disagree and we have to debate in order to get to the truth. If everyone's, just going for the money, going for the, Nobel Prize, and going for the acceptance of the academic community and their peers, we're never going to get the truth. So if you're not on the side of the truth and not, on the side of getting engaged with debates and shutting down, if Jack Sarfati's full of shit, then come on APEC or come on my podcast and debate him and shut him the fuck down. If you're that smart and he's so stupid and it's that easy, then bring it. If not, then shut the fuck up. You don't have anything. You're full of it. Exactly. You're full of it. You pretend. I had a conversation on the phone with Eric Weinstein, man, and the guy's sitting there telling, like, he's like, please, I don't have time for this. I feel myself getting stupider. I was like, but you talk to Jeremy Corbell. Do you feel yourself getting stupider when you talk to him? No, you still talk to him. Why? I don't care anymore. These people are frauds, dude. Like, I'm so done with all of you. And I'm standing up for the truth, and all the people that didn't help and wouldn't put me on and, were afraid to all the time, all these years. I don't care. I don't care anymore, dude. You're either with us and you're going to bring out the truth and bring disclosure, and we're going to, yes, we're going to win. Truth will win in this case. Okay. Truth has endurance. Okay. This year alone, we're going to get more whistleblowers to come forward. That is my goal. We've got so many scientists that have already come forward that they haven't even paid attention to. We're going to get something big happening this year, man. And, you know what? You can blacklist us and not platform us all you want. We're still going to find a way out, because the information speaks for itself. I mean, you can go just to here, Danny Jones. I want to show you why I dropped my mouse. It wasn't the CIA that shut me down. I dropped my mouse. Sorry about that. It hit the back button on the window. Here, let's go to Danny Jones' podcast. Okay. 3 days ago, and it's still at 90,000 views, right? You haven't even broke 100,000 views in 3 days. I mean, you did a little bit better than Brandon Nova, the one from 6 days ago. I'll give you that. 20, 30,000 more views than that one. Bro, my podcast on Danny Jones had over 200,000 views in the first 24 hours. People want real information. They want real science. They want real physics. They don't want people that, are answering scientific questions with, "Oh, but you do accept the scripture of Muhammad?" You're an idiot. And like you proved it to everyone on that podcast. You made an absolute fool out of yourself. And then when you were asked about me, someone who's, been your friend, and I've literally spoon fed you all the information you needed to nail these questions and nail this interview. And you ignored it all for 2 years because you think I'm some kind of UFO nutcase. Screw you, man. Like you're going to, this is such glory to go on this, and read all the comments, because not a single one supports you. Not a single one of these comments is like, "Oh wow, I learned something. This guy, is real." No, every single one is saying how ignorant and stupid and uninformed you are. Why? Because I spoon fed you all this info. I've done all the research for you. All you had to do was watch a video or look at it, and you couldn't even do that. So you know what? It's just these people are all going to be left so far behind. He's going to be chasing. He's going to be writing another book in another 10 years about why he didn't win the Nobel Prize. I didn't win. I'm still butthurt and sad because I didn't win the Nobel Prize. They gave it to these other people and they didn't give it to me. I was worked so hard. Like, dude, get over yourself, man. Get over yourself, get over your research, and just throw your fucking ego in the trash, buddy, because that's where it belongs. You're a nobody. I'm sorry. I'm pissed off tonight, man. Yeah, it's exactly. My Danny Jones video is almost up to 1 million views. And guess what? Danny calls me like twice a week and asks me questions about UFO people and guests and this stuff. And he begs me to come back on. He's like, "When are you coming back on, man?" So yeah, I doubt he will have Brian Keaton back on his podcast. Why would it be worth it? Dude's got nothing to say that he didn't already say. And yeah, it's yeah, the no he'll never win, dude. He's never going to. Oh, come on. Danny's, the young Rogans. I know, man. Come on, man. That's not nice. Danny's a good dude, man. He's new, man. He's new blood. He's just not, he's got a lot. He's smart, but he actually calls me and asks me good questions, man. He asks good questions. And Danny, you know what? He's definitely on he definitely cares about the truth and getting different sides, man. He's not just about grifting and pushing one side, man. He wants to get this on, he wants to get different sides on. So I really like Danny, man. He does a lot better job than most of these guys, dude. So like but yeah, but he's new, man. He hasn't been like down the rabbit hole debating this for 15 years, man. You got to understand where someone like me is coming from, and I got to try to understand where these other people are coming from, people that are new to this topic that have no idea. Because when I went on Danny Jones, man, like, I'm sitting there going up against an army of haters because everyone loved Bob Lazar. It was right after this, Bob Lazar documentary came out, and all these people are like, "Oh, Bob Lazar, he worked out there. He's the real whistleblower, the real physicist and stuff." And then, this alien scientist guy comes on the show and starts, spitting all this facts about the real Bob Lazar story, and then start talking about all these other scientists and stuff. I got a lot of haters on that show, man. I got a lot of people left negative comments about me too. But yeah, I don't want to debate these. Yeah, I could, but they're not going to ever debate me. These people were going to run from that, dude. They're afraid. The guy won't even come on my podcast, dude. Like literally, while he was booking Danny Jones's podcast and Julian Dory's podcast, he's denying, I asked him for, when are you going to come on my podcast again, Brian? He's like, "I'm really sorry, but I don't think I'm going to have time." Oh, but you got time to fly to New York and fly to New Jersey and go on Julian Dory. You got time to fly to, Tampa and go on. But then he cut the Danny Jones interview short, man. It's just, yeah, it's pretty nuts, dude. Oh, thank you for all the new members. This is great. Look, I got 3 new memberships on this one stream. I'm gonna do more streams like this, dude. This is great, man. I was like almost debating whether I was gonna get on and rant and go on a rant and start calling all these people out, but you know what? No, Eric Davis would never come on either. The dude's on the Seoul conference telling everybody this technology is fake. He's got government contracts to work on that stuff. Of course, he's going to tell you disinfo and tell you it's all fake and this shit's not real. It doesn't work because he's got contracts to build it. I don't want anyone else scooping his research or his work. Ridiculous. I would love to debate those guys on cold fusion, man, because the earthtech.org, they have all this stuff that they're, on in their cold fusion page, and a lot of this stuff, man. It's just ah yeah, so the Epstein client list, I don't know about that, but this whole issue with these people that covered up the murder, I think they all need to be charged with treason and conspiracy to cover up murder after the fact. They should all be serving 25 years in prison for treason and what they've done to this country. It's a it's just it's insane. Um, but again, what we don't know is greater than what we do know always. So it's we always try to keep an open mind and learn. And you know what? Maybe in the next year, Eric Weinstein and Brian Keaton will come to their senses and do something that will make me change my opinion and my mind about them. Hopefully they do, because right now I'm pretty convinced that they're part of the psyop and they're part of the controlled information cover up, and they're actually hurting and preventing disclosure by yeah, I know, man. I get discouraged sometimes because of the shadow bans, because they've nerfed the view counts, they nerfed my subscriber count. It's hard to know how much people are really following it and how much it's really getting out there, man. But it really shows. I really appreciate it when people throwing you know memberships and money at this, dude. This is great, dude. Yeah, Tim Ventura, that would be kind of cool, dude. Um, Tim is good. Yeah, that would be good. Um, I don't know, man. It would I hope you learn a lot, man. I hope you go and look stuff up. Sometimes I say some smart things. Um, yeah, I guess is what you need to tell people the real truth is someone to just get angry and go on a rant because everyone tries to sugarcoat it and package it and stuff, and I guess it's yeah, man. Again, they pretend to be super smart and super intelligent, but yet you know why are they not in the debate and doing anything? So um yeah, the videos from the pedo island, the FBI confiscated all those videos, and where did those go? It's like they can't be trusted with that info, dude. That's crazy. But anyways, what do you guys think for disclosure too? Oh my god, I'm getting more super chats. I just got to keep this going. I have a headache and I'm like tired, man. I'm getting like a bad headache all of a sudden, and just this ringing in my head, like they're targeting me with weapons or something. Um, but my phone's ringing too. But um, yeah, we'll get all the algo, dude. I'm stuck in the algo because of the 911 stuff, really. They don't like me talking about that one. That's like the main one, I'm pretty sure. That's what's hurting me in the algorithm because I don't think they care as much about the UFO stuff as they do about that. Because they're real touchy on that information because I really know some real information when it comes to that one. Hello? What the heck was that? I heard some weird noise. I don't know. Um, yeah, huh? The Havana Club, dude. Shh. Hey, thanks, guys. Hey, you know what? There's a ton of people on. We got any whistleblowers in the audience who want to? Any UFO Snowdens out there want to come on and drop some information? Here's the link, man. I'll open it up, man. I'll let some people on if you want to come in and drop some fire. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna jump over pretty soon. I'm gonna be jumping over. Oh yeah, I gotta get Sebastian on. Thank you for the $10. dude. I got to get you on again. Listen, email me. I get so busy, man. I forget sometimes, and just keep at me, man. I get so distracted and so busy with stuff that it's hard to keep it all together. So just keep on me, and that's the best way to get a hold of me, is to just persistence. And yes, you do definitely need to come on the podcast again. Always a good time when you come on, Sebastian. Definitely, thank you. And oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I worry that sometimes I'm just like, the top astrophysicist didn't even look at any of my information. I was like real hurt about that, man. It's like it's like I'm doing this for the people, but I'm not reaching the right people. The right people just aren't looking at the information. And then the more I try to tell them to look at it and that they should pay attention to it, they're like, "Oh, well, you're just a narcissist and yourself or a charlatan, and we don't want to have to look at anything you have to say or pay attention to it." Um, then we got Andrew. I saw you. I saw you there, Andrew. I don't know if you're there, man. Hey, what's up,
What's up?
buddy?
I have nothing to report at this moment.
Oh,
Nothing
nothing
better.
to add. All right. Okay.
But I'm just here to say hi. What's up?
All right, man. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Hey guys, yeah, feel free if you don't want to jump on the stream too. You don't got a camera, you can just come on that StreamYard link and just drop some links or info in the private chat too. So and you know what? Um I'm going to go on I think Andreas is doing a stream. Is that true? Bernie, are you and Andreas doing a stream? Oh, he's live right now. All right. Well, hey guys, I want you guys to go to Andreas Zertis's channel. He's got a live stream here going right now. I'm gonna jump on there for a little while. Hopefully, he doesn't have any of those flat Earth weirdos on there again, or I'm gonna have to leave and jump off. Uh, but if it's science and good stuff, that I'll stick around and check out that. But I'm gonna end the stream here and go jump over to there, guys, before it hits an hour. And feel free to jump in the live chat behind the scenes, because I'll hang out for about 5 minutes before I jump on over there. So, guys, paste the link, jump over here, and it's just here's a link to join my StreamYard backstage, and here's a link to Andreas's channel, and yeah, go. It's at Zertus with an X, so Shirtus called to. So at least we're reaching people, man. That's all that matters, dude. I got 300 people watching live. That's good, man. We're getting better numbers than we used to. It used to get stuck around like 280, 250 and just never go beyond that. So we're definitely yeah. See, dude, $10. Thank you, Anthony Jones. He's saying they're shadow banning you. I'm subscribed, but I never. Yeah, well, I also should put out a notification ahead of time. This one I kind of just put out a notification and went live, so you won't get a notification when I do that. But I need to start doing like a daily thing and post it in the morning and then promote it, so that way you'll get a notification earlier in the day and know. So that's somewhat my fault. It's not necessarily YouTube's fault for that. So I just want to be clear about what is shadow ban and what isn't, and stuff too, because sometimes it's like you're just pounding sand and barking up the wrong tree, right? So yeah, let's dude, this 2024, we're just gonna kill it, dude. We're just gonna go on all these podcasts and blast out APEC, get more scientists involved and more whistleblowers coming this way. And we have we have information, we have the credible intelligence. I got 300 slides of pure fire on material science and just classified physics stuff and just all and just history, real history of guys like Hillenkotter, the first director of the CIA, so that when the Hill can go and write an article saying 2023 was the year that our government just started being interested in UFOs, we can know that no, the government's been interested in UFOs for quite a long time. So behind the scenes, high-ranking Air Force officers are soberly concerned about UFOs, but through official secrecy and ridicule, many citizens are led to believe that the unknown flying objects are nonsense. And there you have it. Thank you all for watching, and you know, we're gonna finally get the truth out. Where these people who've sat in their graves for 80 years over this stuff are finally going to be vindicated and see justice. Man, this is these are great. You guys are awesome. I love all these super chats, and it really shows the support from the audience that you guys are on it. I'm gonna go hang out with the people that are grouping up backstage already. So if you want to join the after party, there's a link. Thank you all. Have a good night.